That's what Buddhism is, right? That's what the teachings are. And that's the main emphasis here, working with our mind. And this is important to know first. And so I use the analogy of water, right? I always say this pure wisdom of Buddha, called Buddhism, the Dharma, the teachings, what we see here, it is simply nothing but a science of mind, a genuine science of mind, like a genuine water, a pure. Welcome. Pure and genuine water. Right? Mind's nature is like water. Pure, clean, transparent, fluid. No matter which cup you pour the water in, it has a flexibility to take that shape, reflect that color. True nature is free from color or shape. Right? Mind is like a water. And the Dharma teaching is like a water. Buddha's teaching is like a water. When you pour it in an ornate Indian cup, it takes that shape, reflects that color, and it is called the Indian Buddhism, working with the Indian mind. I have no idea what that means. I'm just kidding. I do. Because I was born in India and raised in India. So sort of my mind is like Indian mind in a way. And secondly, this water, when it came to China, Japan, Thailand, poured in these different cultures, cup, container, it took that shape, reflected that color. And when it came to Tibet, it's the same thing. You pour in a Tibetan ornate silver or wood cup, wooden handmade cup. It takes that shape, adopts that shape, reflects that color. And the same thing when you pour the water in our American glass, be it a crystal glass or paper cup. Right? The water has no restrictions saying, I can't be poured in a paper cup, I can't be poured in a silver cup. I can't take this shape. There is no such restriction, right? Water is pure water. So what I'm trying to say is this wisdom, this pure wisdom of Buddha has no culture and no language. It goes beyond culture and it goes beyond language. The language and the color the language and the culture that we are using here is simply to hold this water, right? It serves a purpose. It is necessary, isn't it? How would you keep this water? How would you transport this water? How would you benefit many beings, like we can see around the world, right? The water is being transported in trucks, containers. How can you bring this water to greater benefit of sentient beings without a container? There is no way, right? We can try to hold water in our, what you call? What? Yeah, whatever this is. Palms, yeah, palms, hands, and so on, right? We can try to hold the water in here, and you can see how long it will stay, right? How much you will waste this water. But if you have a container, it keeps the water, right? So the culture and the language serves a purpose of holding this pure wisdom, transporting this pure wisdom, transmitting this pure wisdom, and sharing this wisdom to the world. So the culture and language serves a certain purpose. Beyond that, there's no need to learn the culture. There's no need to learn the language. What we need is we want water, isn't it? We just want water. We don't go to McDonald's for a paper cup. We're going to McDonald's for a Coke. We want the real thing. Right? We want the real thing, The real thing here is the water, the contained, not the container. Don't forget that. Don't get caught up in a container, the beauty of a container and the culture of the container. Don't get caught up in culture and language. Go to the essence. The essence is the wisdom, the water that we want here. Right? But that water, you can't get that water without your container. You have to bring the container. Right? There's a river in a pure water stream in the mountains. You can fetch water if you bring your container, right? Like going to El Dorado Springs. Right, in Boulder here, we go to El Dorado Springs with our container and 50 cents or something. We need that, right? We need the container to get the water. So what we need is we need the container to have this wisdom to work with our mind. And that container here is explained as having some qualities. You need some qualities, some pure qualities for the container part. Without some qualities, you can't hold this water. Right? So first thing is the container. If the container is contaminated with some poison or some chemicals, then the contained water also get contaminated. Water will get contaminated. It will bring sickness. It will hurt people instead of helping. And so therefore, container has to be clean. And so this refers to our motivation, intention. Motivation has to be clean, and motivation has to be clear. We have to have a clarity and precision in our motivation when we collect this wisdom. And so having a pure motivation is the first quality of a container. Being beneficial and helpful, not only to oneself, but to others. And the second quality is, container. If a container has a hole, then we have a problem here, right? If a container has a hole, then we have a problem. Everything leaks. Nothing stays in, no matter how much you pour water in, gallons and gallons and gallons. And so therefore, container has to be totally sealed. That's referring to having mindfulness. We have to have a good mindfulness to utilize this wisdom. In order for this wisdom to really be beneficial to oneself and others, we have to have a mindfulness quality, the second important quality of a container. And the third important quality of a container here is very simple. Container not being put upside down. Right? Very simple, right?